Hello, students. Today we are going to learn about changing present tense verbs to past tense verbs in a paragraph. It is very important to study verb tenses because you will use what you learn in your writing. Remember, verb tense and sentences are used to tell the reader the time period an event takes place. In writing, one of the most common mistakes students make is mixing present tense and past tense verbs. Start over. Hello, students. Today we are going to learn about changing present tense verbs to past tense verbs in a paragraph. It is very important to study verb tenses because you will use what you learn in your writing. Remember, verb tenses and sentences are used to tell the reader the time period an event takes place. In writing, one of the most common mistakes students make is mixing present tense and past tense verbs. Mixing verb tenses can make your writing awkward and confusing to your reader. Let's take a look at this example sentence. The race started and the fans yelled and cheered for their favorites. In this sentence, started and cheered are past tense. Yells is present tense. This shift from past to present, back to past, leaves your reader wondering about the time these actions take place. To make your writing clear and effective, choose a verb tense for your writing and stick to it. We are going to practice working with verb tenses and changing from present tense into a past tense. So we are going to change the underlined present tense verbs in paragraph 1 to past tense verbs in paragraph 2. Read the paragraph out loud when finished to verify it makes sense. So here's our first paragraph, and you'll notice the verbs are already underlined. These are the words that we are going to change into its past tense form so that we have a past tense paragraph. But first, let's read the present tense paragraph. Today, our class goes on a field trip. The noisy bus arrives at the zoo, and we divide up into groups. My group heads straight for the big cats. The lions and tigers entertain us with their grace and beauty. A guide tells us about the animals. He points out the endangered species. We stop eagerly at the refreshment stand. We all buy soft drinks and hot dogs. I take pictures of my friends and the animals. We walk for hours before we start back to school. Now, each of these verbs that are underlined, we are going to change into past tense form. All right. So, yesterday, our class, we would say, because it's past tense, remember it already happened, so we would say yesterday our class went on a field trip. The noisy bus, what word do you think I would put here? Now look up here at the word arrives. And remember that when changing a word that ends in an S or ES, we can add the ED, D, or T ending to it, right? So we would say the noisy bus arrived at the zoo. And we divide, so this is a plain ending, means we can just add a D to the end, right? Because we're adding ED, D, or T, unless it's an irregular verb, in which case then we have to change the spelling. All right. Yesterday our class went on a field trip. The noisy bus arrived at the zoo and we divided up into groups. My group, word is heads here. So what do you think I would change this to? My group what? Straight for the big cats. Think, think, think. Get ready. Good. Headed. My group headed straight for the big cats. The lions and tigers. What word goes here? Lions and tigers blank us with their grace and beauty. So the verb we have up here is entertain. To turn that into past tense, remember I add ed, d, or t to the ending. So what would I say? The lions and tigers, get ready, entertained us with their grace and beauty. A guide tells. So now we got to change that to its past tense form. What would tells be in its past tense form? Get ready. Yes, told. A guide told us about the animals. He, here's our past tense verb. He did what? Think, think, think. Get ready. Yes, pointed out the endangered species. We, our next word is stop. We need to change stop into past tense. So what would I put instead of we stop eagerly? I would put what? Get ready. Yes, stopped. We stopped eagerly at the refreshment stand. We all buy. So now I need to take the word buy and put that in its past tense form. Now this is an example of an irregular verb, right? I can't say we all buyed soft drinks and hot dogs. That doesn't make sense. So instead, we need to change that word to we all bought soft drinks and hot dogs. I blank pictures of my friends and the animals. Our present tense verb is I take. Now, again, ask yourself, would I say I taked pictures of my friends and the animals? No, I absolutely would not. So what should I say instead to make it past tense? I blank pictures of my friends and animals. What would I put there? Get ready. Yes, took. I took pictures of my friends and the animals. We blank for hours. All right, here's our verb. It's walk. We're changing walk into past tense. So we what? Get ready. Yes, walked for hours before we, next is start, back to school. So we need to take start and turn that into past tense. So we walked for a few hours before we, think, 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 get ready. Yes, started back to school. All right, now let's reread this entire paragraph and make sure it makes sense. Yesterday, our class went on a field trip. The noisy bus arrived at the zoo and we divided up into groups. My group headed straight for the big cats. The lions and tigers entertained us with their grace and beauty. A guide told us about the animals. He pointed out the endangered species. We stopped eagerly at the refreshment stand. We all bought soft drinks and hot dogs. I took pictures of my friends and the animals. We walked for hours before we started back to the school. How does that paragraph sound to you? Does it sound like a good paragraph to you? Give me a thumbs up if you think that sounds good to you. Give me a second thumbs up if every single verb that we put in there is now in past tense form. Perfect. Awesome, guys. Good job. You are amazing.